It's just a question. The aspirations in your talk are wonderful, and I'm sure everybody in the room is delighted to hear the Minister making commitments like that. However, on the ground, it can sometimes be very, very different. And there are the National Concordat and the national outcome around social economy development. I'm just wondering, how does the government monitor that? How does it make sure that it's happening? It seems to me that the localism agenda is like, if it's up to them to do it. But when it doesn't happen, there seems to be no clout from the government to actually make it happen.
Okay. It's a very fair question, Helen. And one of the, when I came in here today, I was told by one of your colleagues of an experience in a local authority area, which essentially said, you're not getting your seat at the top table, if I can put it as bluntly as that. Now, essentially, from my point, now what I said to that gentleman is that I'll confront that with the individual local authority, and believe you me, I will, because there's no point in me standing here in front of you saying this is what we want to do for it then not to materialise at local level. Now, one of the points about the interface approach is to avoid me having to face up to an argument from local government saying, well, who would we have? There's so many folk we could possibly have, and we can't have 10 folk, we can't have 3 folk, we just want one person, who's it going to be? And that can often be an excuse that is marshalled in front of central government. So, on that point about involvement at local level in community planning partnerships, I'm absolutely adamant that local government must accept that point. It's entrenched in the Concordat, the role of the third sector. It's entrenched in the output of the third sector task group that has just published its findings. And what we do in trying to give practical effect to these questions is we have, for each of the community planning partnerships around the country, there's a Scottish Government director responsible for those areas. There's about 16 directors deal with 2 local authorities, and their job is to make sure that what we want as ministers are applied within those agreements. So, if there's an issue at local level, let's hear about it. Just tell us where the problem cases are, and we can work to ensure that we resolve those at local level. Now, that's the approach that we take to make sure that what we say at platforms like this are translated into activity at local level. I would much rather use the cooperative and the collaborative style rather than the stick style, to be honest. I think it's more productive for us all if we operate in that fashion. But if there are issues about involvement at local level, I know some examples, some of your colleagues who've shared with me, fantastic examples of greater access and involvement that they've had as a consequence of this process. If the experience is not so good, then I would also want to hear about it in the bargain and to act upon it crucially.